So I've had my Triumph Thuxton for about a year and a half now. Posted tons of photos all over Instagram, but I haven't ever done a video. So I thought I'd do that now just to do a little walk around and show everybody what my bike's all about. So it's a 2010 Triumph Thuxton. I picked it up actually in Florida, or I had bought it in Florida and had it shipped out to where I live in California about a year and a half ago, and it's a pretty awesome bike, so I thought I'd show you guys everything that's been done to it. The previous owner did a few mods and I've done a few more, and also really cleaned it up and gave it that really awesome look that it has. So just do a little walk around. So the first thing that you probably notice is the awesome custom aero exhaust. It's a 2-into-1. Comes out the front, and the pipes bend and go into the single flow adapter and then out to the awesome cone style filter, which really, I think, pulls together that whole cafe look to it. It came with an isolator, which of course I took out to give it, you know, that full sound, which I'll turn on the bike and show you in a minute. So that's probably my favorite mod on this bike. The sound on this muffler is awesome, and it also just looks great. Helps alleviate some weight. Obviously, doesn't have that exhaust, the stock exhaust that's on both sides. So because the exhaust is gone, you can fully see the swing arm there, and then obviously the hanger for the rear peg for the passenger pegs. And I think it just offers a really clean look having it all on one side, which is pretty sweet. Also have this cool rear gold sprocket. It is actually the same size as the stock sprocket, so not much there except that it kind of matches the gold trim that's on the bike. It's also hard to see, but the chain has also got a gold tint to it, so we've got an aftermarket sprocket, aftermarket chain that kind of follows, like I said, those gold lines that you see like here, like on the decals and stuff. Previous owner actually had these holes drilled out on the sprocket cover. Some people completely take this off or put a different sprocket cover on it altogether. He drilled out these holes, which is kind of cool, and all of the pieces on my bike are all this brushed aluminum, which is pretty neat. You know, even on the foot guard there in the back as well. I went ahead and got some British Customs pieces. So here there's normally a big flathead bolt that goes in here, but I got these British Customs twist offs, so you can easily unscrew this and finger tighten it back on to be able to get at the Allen wrench that's underneath, which you use to take off the rear cowl. So these are pretty cool. I think they're about like 20-30 bucks for the pair. I also got the same thing, British Customs, these quick release seat posts as well. Up underneath the seat. So again, it's just you just finger tight. You're able to twist it, and then twist it back on to retighten it up. So I think one of the cool things that the previous owner did is obviously the Fender Eliminator Kit. So Fender is completely gone. Got that, again, nice cafe look with the plate hanging underneath, and the rear light there, and then obviously the aftermarket signals on the back. Again, to give it those really clean lines on the back. Shocks are stock. Pretty much all of the engine components are stock. I did add this cool little Triumph oil filter cover. Again, the stock one has this big flathead type of fastener on there, so you have to stick a big flathead screwdriver in to get this off. This one you can just do with your fingers, and it's got the cool Triumph logo on it, which I really like. Put an aftermarket horn in. The previous owner actually had this big car style one that stuck out this far, and when I would hit bumps, either going down the freeway or just big bumps in general, it would actually hit the fender because the forks would compress enough in here that you'd hear this knocking, and it took me a while to figure out what it was, and I realized that it was the aftermarket horn that he put on. So I removed that and put a more low profile one on there, which is nice. I also ran a USB adapter from the battery to charge my phone. Obviously when I'm doing long rides and have the GPS going, I have it mounted to the top of the handlebars. He also put these really cool made in England little emblems on each side of the bike there, which is kind of neat. This adds a little bit of a cool touch to it, so I like that a lot. I think this is kind of cool. On Triumphs, usually the ignition is on the left side, but he had it moved over to the right, which I actually kind of like because I'm right-handed. So when other Triumph owners see this, they're like, wait, isn't this supposed to be on the left? And you're absolutely correct, but it was actually moved over to the right side on this bike, which is kind of cool. He also painted the forks. He also painted the front forks here gold, again to kind of match that whole gold themed color, which is kind of cool. Both front forks painted gold, and then obviously the aftermarket indicators there. Got rid of the big ear style indicators, which are pretty cool to have, the aftermarket ones. I think some other stuff that was cool is, it might be hard to see, but if I flip the ignition on, yeah, can't see it really during the day, but he added a blue indicator LEDs underneath the bezel here for the tachometer and speedometer, so that's pretty cool to be able to have that glowing blue, which is kind of adds a cool touch, and it's not overly douchey. But other than that, the rest of the bike is pretty much stock. Added a joker knob here for the throttle position to warm up the bike. That's just a simple screw on. Otherwise, not a whole lot extra has been done. It actually came with a really ugly aftermarket seat, which I hated. It was like this two-tone, very old man looking seat. I actually went online, found a stock seat, and put a new stock seat on. A lot of people go with other cafe style seats, and I was thinking about doing that, but I really like being able to put the cowl over the rear seat. I just think that's one of the cool things about this bike, is it makes it look like it's a one-seater, and then easily remove the cowl to have it be a two-seater. So I think that's pretty cool. So I really wanted to leave that, even though it's a very stock element. Another cool thing, actually that's aftermarket, is the light. So previous owner had an HID headlight installed, so this is a ridiculously bright light, and when I'm following people, it literally lights up the entire inside of their cars. It's almost blinding. I've actually been on another bike having my friend ride my bike behind me, and I could barely even see, especially on dark streets, because it was casting so much of a shadow in front of me. But it's cool to have a really nice bright white light, much better than the stock. So I'm going to fire this up so you guys can get a little bit of the sound. Let's see. Got it in neutral. It's kind of hard to do that one-handed with the phone. There you go. You can hear that awesome sound, and I'm sure it doesn't translate as well in the video, but love that aero exhaust. It really echoes, especially when going through tunnels. Awesome, awesome exhaust. I highly recommend it. It's a pretty expensive package, about $1,500, but again, came with my bike, so didn't have to pay for the extra. But lightens up the bike, gives it that really clean look all on one side. The only thing to consider is that if it gets knocked over, that's going to be an expensive fix. So that's my 2010 Triumph Thuxton.